Hello everybody, and welcome to Andrew Broussard Watercolors. Today is Wednesday, December the 30th, so tomorrow is New Year's Eve. So I figured, why not try an experiment in regards to fireworks? So I've thought of a few different ways to go about doing it, so I'll probably get maybe 2 videos done today with 2 different approaches. And we'll see how they work out and see, what we can do. So in front of me, I have a 10 by 10 sheet of Stonehenge aqua that I marked off to 1, 2, 3, 4, an 8 by 10 matte opening. I'm saturating this 100% cotton paper with water, and then I'm going to play around with these inks. Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay inks. These ones have proven to be quite waterproof, and what I'm going to do is put in washes of this this ink. If you don't have this ink, I'll talk about maybe a different method that you can use, but let me just feed these in first. So what I was thinking is feed this ink in, and I'm just going to grab the squirrel mop. We'll do different spots. We're going to do a dry off, then we'll take masking fluid, mask out the design of fireworks, and I have a generic photo that I'm just looking at alongside me. Then after the masking fluid is dry, paint over that pretty darkly, in a dark fashion. Then lift up the masking fluid, revealing the ink underneath. That's my idea. If you don't have this ink, you could probably skip ahead to the masking fluid portion, masking fluid the design of your watercolor fireworks, and then from there paint over that, remove the masking fluid, and then go back in and put your colors into those holes. So kind of 2 different approaches involving masking fluid. So this is the just blue, and we'll let colors overlap and mix. And I'm kind of following a little bit of a generic, a little bit of formula, but kind of just playing around. Also, somebody had asked in a comment, why am I tapping the corners? Whenever the paper is absorbing water, it's starting to stretch. So you can lift up the binder clip, press down, and that'll go in that fashion. So whenever it starts to buckle, that's the solution for that. Okay, I think that's enough blue. We got some green. It really doesn't take much. I believe, I'm not really sure the YouTuber's name. Teo Chi. I know I'm butchering it. If you look up reviews of the Dr. P.H. Martin ink, the India ink, he has some reviews of it, and I think he mixes them and gets some different color with it. He had bought a box set in a video. So you can use them in a watercolor fashion, these inks. So if you Google it, it'll pop up. It's like TEOH. I apologize for not knowing it. You do have to shake these inks once in a while because there is a lot of sediment. You also have to make sure you wash your brushes well. This is not something you want to dry on your brushes. And these are also rated to be light fast. I believe that I've seen the light fast test of these, so I think that they're pretty good to go art-wise. And we'll put out one more color. That was alizarin. No, it was magenta, sorry. And this is crimson. So as you can see, it's kind of a mixture of color. We could be more exact if we wanted to. This is kind of experimenting with ideas, seeing what we can do, and you know, seeing what might be an option for y'all. Because I don't know about y'all, but like whenever you try taking photos of fireworks, they just never come out well. So this might be a good way to capture the end of 2020. So we have our inks out. Let me pause this and do a dry off, and I will turn the camera back on in a moment. All right. Now I'm going to take this fine line resist pen. I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby, but I think it's also up on Blick.com. You can probably also find it on Amazon, so it's pretty readily available. I hadn't used it for at least a year, and it worked well after that. So this stuff lasts a long time. What I'm gonna do is kind of draw out the shape of the fireworks. And I know you probably won't be able to see that well, so I'll kind of just ramble for a little bit if you don't mind. One artist that I follow and mention, Stephen Cronin, he recently put out a video that said, listen, if you follow one of my tutorials, you are more than welcome to sell the artwork that that you do. And that's, you know, something that we've been doing on this channel as well, is if you follow something, you're more than welcome to sign your name on it and you know, and sell that artwork. You know, we want you guys to succeed. We want you guys to be able to afford art supplies. We know that they're, you know, add up in price and all that. And you know, it's just cool that another artist had come out and said something like that. So I believe Lois Davidson says that as well. So you know, it's cool, the YouTube art community, and how friendly everybody is, and how, you know, we just want everybody to enjoy painting. Now with this masking fluid, I'm kind of doing a hooking motion. The photo that I'm looking at is kind of the fireworks that go off and kind of droop down to the side. And I think it'll be interesting. One thing I'm not sure of is the density of these lines, meaning should I put a lot together in a group like this fashion, or spread them out more? That might be something to experiment with overlapping and getting higher density of fireworks and lower density. Now, one thing you want to watch out for, if you're a fast and loose painter and you move quickly, it can get, and I feel it already, a little tedious doing this repetitive motion. So try to spread out and work one side, work the other, go back and forth, so that one side isn't tight and then the other side shows that you started rushing it. And once this masking fluid dries, we'll paint kind of a simple dark scene over it, and then lift up the masking fluid. One thing that I had mentioned earlier in the video is if you don't have the inks, you can put the masking fluid down, paint your dark scene for the nighttime, lift up the ink, masking fluid. It'll be just white paper at that point, and from there you can then go in and fill up those holes, those spaces with watercolor. Another thing as an option is washes with watercolor and then pulling the masking fluid over that, so you kind of wash in and masking fluid on top of that wash. However, one of the issues with that is that you do pull up some of the pigment. So I'm putting little dots for kind of a skyline of a city, little boats on the harbor, and bringing down those reflections. They don't have to be perfect, just giving the illusion. An artist who uses masking fluid a lot is Rick S on YouTube. I always say in every video, if you watch often, I'll say Rick S because I can't pronounce his last name. However, he uses masking fluid a lot, and it just comes out absolutely beautiful. I don't think he really masking fluids on camera. He'll draw it in and then put the marks in. But he's somebody to definitely check out if you are into utilizing masking fluid. He'll put in branches, twigs, all that type of stuff, and then lifts up afterwards. Masking fluid is also used for preserving the white of the paper. So you might see it whenever you have splashing water. I do feel that ultimately the important thing here is the design and the dispersion of these. I know I kind of questioned earlier, is there an importance to the density of these? And as I put them in, I start to see that there is. So some of these areas that are preserved white, I'm going to build up the masking fluid in that spot as if it's the center of an explosion. Probably do that with some other colors as well. And as you sit and look at fireworks, you start to realize, as I'm looking at this picture, the inside of the burst, where more of the heat's going to be, is going to be on the whiter, yellower end. Maybe a little bit of orange. So spots like that may help the realism of it. All right, I'm going to call it at that with putting the masking fluid. And this has a little metal piece that goes in the center, and that prevents it from clogging. So let me pause this, let this dry, and then I'll come right back with some washes of watercolor. All right, I think we're ready to dive into this. So I'm gonna re-wet the paper so I can go wet and wet and put wet washes in. I'm gonna try to go super fast and loose with this and truly not fiddle around. So let's see. All right, our paper since I was just using the blow dryer, it's a little warm, so it's gonna soak it up a little bit more. All right, let's go to it. So I poured some black out on the palette. I don't think it really matters which one we utilize. This is Lunar Black from Daniel Smith. You see how it has a granulation to it. I believe it has granulation, so that should be an interesting effect. Let's grab some ultramarine. Trying to just get a lot of pigment. Remember, it's nighttime. We're going to be battling the fact that things are going to have a tonal shift, meaning that it's going to lighten up. So I'm just feeding it a lot of pigment. Some more black. Okay, let's grab some cerulean. Yeah, that's straight from the tube right there. Same thing with this raw sienna. Just throwing that in. You can see the paper has lifted up a little bit, so that's due to it being saturated again with water. I'm going to bring that raw sienna down on either side in the water. Then go back to that, grab ultramarine. Darken these sides up. Here's the shoreline. I put out some burnt umber for that. Darken that up. Here's some of that lunar black. Okay. Some of the straight from the tube I'm trying to move around a little bit, just because I know that when I use the eraser to pull up the masking fluid, it'll probably pull up some of that straight from the tube paint. All right, now let's see. We could fiddle around with this. Here's a little bit of ultramarine, trying to grab some more. And play around with variations and whatnot. You can dry brush. But this is more just seeing the effect and seeing if it works. Let's wash this brush off. I'm going to pause, dry off, and then I'll turn it back on and we'll see what it looks like there. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to realize it was lopsided. All right, so now it's dry. I do have to apologize. I added a wash of ultramarine and cerulean as I was drying. Had to fiddle with it. So anyway, so let's take this eraser and start lifting and see what it looks like. Now, I apologize if the table shakes. Let me try to brace it. Now, one thing I'm wondering right off the bat is, should I have not done a wet and wet wash with the inks? Maybe next time put pure from the bottle inks, just eyedropper it, maybe just right onto the paper if we want a more saturated color. But it is having an interesting effect. Okay, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to remove the rest and then we'll look at it. I'll be right back. All right, I believe I have most of the masking fluid removed. As you can see, it leaves a pretty interesting effect. Very simple to get fireworks. Let's look at it underneath the mat. We'll sign our name on it. As of course, if you follow any of these tutorials, feel free to sign your name on it. I'd love to see your all's results. Please like, subscribe, follow. If you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. I also have a Patreon account. It does have some exclusive content for members, and that helps keep this channel going. But ultimately, I just really like filming these experiments, so I'd love to hear from y'all. So let's sign this. And we'll put the mat over it. And of course, everybody please have a safe and happy New Year's. I know it's been a crazy year. I have to sign with another pen. That's just being soaked right in. There you go. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll have one more video up hopefully before New Year's, but if not, I'll talk to you next year. Have a good one. Bye.